after doing like the little recap videos and stuff with my friends and stuff like that, I remember, I think it was with cliff jumping that it started. It's super random. Being from Northern California, I got the only thing to do in the summer for me is like go to the lakes.
It's really hot. And
It's really hot, and you're young, and you're
faced
like,
with
who cares?
adventure.
I'm on top of the world.
Right.
I'm unstoppable.
I don't know. It had to have been with that, or eventually with sports as well. But I really had fun with filming someone and just making them look even cooler.
That's Gaston Gardey. Gaston's just finishing up his studies in college, learning about video production and about marketing. And over the years, he's been growing his own social media following, posting video after video about adventure brands and sports lifestyle. So to all you media and content lovers, here he is, the one-of-a-kind Gaston Gardey.
Gaston?
Hi.
Do you say it with like a French accent, or
No, I mean...
do people call you something other than Gaston?
Sometimes my friends call me Ston. It's just
Ston.
the last, it's just the last 4 letters, or G. But yeah, no, you got it right. A lot of people say Gaston, so they say Gaston, or they start singing the Beauty and the Beast song.
Right.
So it's like one of the two.
One of the two.
Yeah.
There's no like happy medium.
No.
Gaston, thank you so much for being here. We're so excited to hear about your journey.
This is awesome.
So yeah, this is fun. Yeah. So for people who don't know, you are a videographer, freelancer, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So I just do freelance videography for any brands and local companies out there wanting to promote content on social media.
And how'd you find that passion? How old were you? Did somebody give you a camera and say, this is what will be your life?
I mean, sorta. So as a kid, I always gravitated towards like camcorders and GoPros, and I think it was just like family trips and then like doing fun things with friends like out by the lake or, river or stuff like that during the summer. And I just liked recapping trips, adventures, and just like fun things with my friends. But like I would really just kind of like keep it and look at it. I would never really share it anywhere until it wasn't until like senior year of high school or so. I like created a family trip from a vacation.
Yeah.
And it was the first time where I like put a lot of effort into editing it, and I published it, and I was like, wow, this was like really fun. Like it was super.
Like the experience of putting it together?
Yeah, the experience of like because I'm not sure when it really started. I'm sure everyone always kind of looks out the window when they're playing music and kind of imagines like a vision or something like that. And so like I think it was probably on the way back from the airplane. I was just looking out the window, blasting music, and I had a vision for like creating a video of my experience, and I did that, and it was just like super cool to make it like come to life in a way. Yeah, come together. And ever since then, I just kind of like started getting more into it and more passionate about just having fun.
So talk about like what the share of that first video is like. When you put it together, did you automatically put it up on YouTube and tell your friends, dude, check out my YouTube video? Or was it personal?
It started out personal, and then very quickly, like I wanted to like share it, just kind of like see what other people thought and stuff like that. And I posted it, and I was excited to post it, but I do remember like for the first time posting something like that, it was weird to be like, go check out my video. Right. Like I felt like I was like trying to be like some influencer or something like that. Because it was like this was like 2015, so it's kind of when Instagram was first like really starting to kind of change. Like it wasn't like memes and just like cat photos and iPhone stuff. So then it was kind of weird, but then I saw kind of like the potential of like something different in creating videos, and I was like, I'm just gonna have fun with it. And
so after the first one that you created, did you keep on having experiences and just document those experiences with your family, or was it like, yo, now that I know how this whole thing comes together, I'm gonna shoot some shots of like my buddies playing football or like,
So so that was just a family trip, and then I didn't really I would only go on a family trip like maybe once or twice, or maybe once a year or once every other year. So that opportunity was fun, and then I was like, well, like because I remember after doing that video, I was like, oh, well, like, how am I gonna make something cool? Like, I just got back from Asia, and now I'm like back in El Dorado Hills, and like
Right.
I'm just so used to like all my spots. It just became used to me. Like I
Yeah.
just became like so well known.
Acclimated and
Yeah,
everything, yeah.
that I just didn't see like the.
Well, this is a great point, right? Because you think about like Sam Colder, who just puts out like one beautiful video after the next, him traveling these different locations. And there's a certain element of it that's like, yeah, great job, great camera work, great drone work, great presets or color grades,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And transitions. Dude's a transition
Definitely.
master.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, you're also touring like the most beautiful places.
Definitely.
You want to take great
Endless
video
inspiration,
footage.
yeah.
Go to somewhere beautiful.
Yeah.
Which you're able to do with family, but that's only happening every so often.
Exactly. So it was kind of like when I got back from that, I'm like, that was my first video, and like, kind of a good impression. I'm like, what do I do now? I don't, especially
follow it up.
again back to that time, like people were like traveling, posting videos a lot, and I was like, well, I'm not in that position to just do that. So I started. I think it was like the beginning of summer when that video happened, and in the summer I would go to the lake a lot with my friends, and we do like cliff jumping and stuff like that. And I was always into action and like sports and stuff like that. So I would take the GoPro out there and film, and I started creating. That was because the first video I did for my trip was a YouTube video, and then after that I transitioned to creating like small. I think it was 15 seconds still on Instagram, and I was doing those 15-second edits on Instagram, and I started creating, just anything I could get. During that summer, I would just go out with my friends as much as I can just to film.
Tell me about your, even though you're not necessarily getting this experience in college, your transition to thinking through a business-minded lens.
I remember throughout, like, right when I graduated high school, when I was kind of in that transition of, like, maybe I can kind of do some branding. I still had no clue. I was like, well, sure, maybe I could do some of these videos, but, like, can I do this full time? Like, is this actually something
sustainable?
Yeah. So really this entire time, for me, it's the easy part is creating and learning new things and so. But for me, what I've been trying to practice is the business aspect. And I think things started to change probably just within the last 3 years, where I've realized that you could be the best. And I think it's because after I've been posting so much content and I've started to see a value in my own work, I'm like, you know what, you can be the best videographer in the world, but unless you know how to market yourself and like represent yourself, then
It's so true.
It's just not
Nobody's
gonna go
gonna,
anywhere.
yeah, nobody's gonna see
It's
it.
not gonna see it. Like, so it's like,
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the market for videographers, like, it's getting cheaper and cheaper, that you can get better and better equipment. There's more and more free sources of education on YouTube where you can learn about how to put together the sickest stuff. And so you're right. Like, what separates anybody apart from each other than the way they market themselves?
Yeah. And there's like, and now, like you said, you bring up a good point. Social media has become so prominent and it's become the cheapest and efficient way for companies to like advertise, that there's an influx of ads on top of that. But you have to have a certain amount of creativity to kind of like
Put that
stand
together,
out.
yeah.
Exactly. Which, so that's interesting because now you jump back to.
It's like the perfect balance of the two, like being able to have that creative side and being able to know what to do with it and market.
Yeah, and I'm thinking about how you allocate that knowledge or that investment in yourself versus for another business. You know what I mean? It's like anybody can learn how to put together a video, how to hold the camera, but it takes time. Not everybody actually has the fortitude to like stick it out.
I know.
Well, and I think it depends on what your passions are, because when you are really passionate about something, then you'll spend the time. But if you're not, then you're not really meant to be in that area, right?
Yeah, and there are, I hear both sides, because I also have a friend that like just not a fan of editing, but he does like the directing aspect of things. But there's different, like you said, you have a passion for different things. But for me, like I love editing. Like I've sent my footage off to people for work, but like in general, like I much rather
do it all
To like get the post, like you want to do the post production.
Yeah, the post production, because like that's where most of my creativity like
The
comes
magic
in.
happens,
Yeah, because although it's harder for me to edit someone else's clips, like just to have both is where I really feel like definitely.
So what are you doing right now for work?
I've currently just been freelancing on my own, doing like focus on commercial videos, but I've been trying to focus on brand strategy and brand development like right now.
Okay. Can you share an example of a business that you've worked with where you've been able to be part of that?
Or what you mean by brand strategy and brand development.
Yeah.
So what I mean by brand development and brand strategy is like working on creating advertising solutions through social media that would generate leads, develop brand recognition, and increase sales. And through that, it would be like a well-defined and executed strategy, in my opinion, would be like connected through consumer needs, emotions, and like the competitive environments going on within like the brand like I'm working for. And in order to do that, you have to have an understanding of their audience in a much deeper level.
Yeah.
So
what sort of framework do you go through to figure that out?
for me, I would have to figure out their message, their goals, their target audience, and then with that info, develop visual content that would really shape and bring social media awareness to their brand.
Yeah.
And as we were talking about before, like social media is becoming so prominent and it's becoming so popular for people to get invested in video equipment. And even, I know there's like a lot of videographers freaking out. There's like softwares now that are going to be like editing your videos for you and stuff like that. But it's about being able to stand out between all of those ads that are going to be going on, and creating something that's really going to not only tell a story, but like represent a brand the way they want. And
what's Gaston's secret sauce?
I don't know. I've like going back to why I started, after doing like the little recap videos and stuff with my friends and stuff like that, I remember, I think it was with cliff jumping that it started. It's super random. Being from Northern California, I got the only thing to do in the summer for me is like go to the lakes.
It's really hot.
It's really hot, and you're young, and you're
faced
like,
with
who cares?
Yeah, who cares?
I'm on top of the world.
Right.
I'm unstoppable.
I don't know. It had to have been with that, or eventually with sports as well. But I really had fun with filming someone and just making them look even cooler on video. Like that was just like,
Dude, that's so powerful.
Yeah.
it's just like I love, and then
Making
also
them look dope.
yeah, it literally just and it kind of sounds like dumb, but like that's
No.
really just making them look dope.
That's
like,
business.
on camera. Yeah.
So you're
know?
speaking to a very specific demographic in and of itself, because especially even just with that,
Babe,
like,
you don't want to look dope? What are you talking about?
and like just even with that like verbiage, like you're speaking to athletes, you're speaking to the adventure seekers, you know. So you've been able to connect with those people and grow your experience, right? Your portfolio.
That's a good point. Yeah, no, that's mainly my audience is. And I remember one time, like one of my videos went, like for me, it went viral. Like it only got like 20,000 views, but like for my world, it was like big, and it still is big. It's the biggest thing, but it generated so much of that audience, like cliff jumping and athletes and stuff like that. And then I kind of built upon, keep doing that and I had fun with it. It wasn't just about what my audience like wants to see, but it was like understanding that what my audience likes and kind of doing what I still want to share but thinking about them at the same time. But yeah, and it's not even about like just taking someone that's already seen as talented or dope. It's like also taking someone that someone that might get overlooked, but someone that has a talent or skill that
people don't know about yet.
Yeah, people don't know about yet, and people, might not understand kind of the talent and
that's there, and then you get to expose it. It's like it's like a piece of like a diamond in the rough, and you're just like chiseling it away.
Exactly. That's a great way to put it.
I'm really loving how with your story, I think that relatively speaking, you've grown a pretty like substantial community in your niche. But I think it's so cool because we were just talking about this before we started talking on the interview.
Yeah.
how you care so much more about engagement. And so you don't care if you have like hundreds of thousands of followers. You just want those like committed 500, right?
Exactly.
The people who are really engaging, really like wanting to participate in that community. And I feel like when you care about that and you really just care about providing value to your community, there's so many opportunities that flow from that you don't have to have this like massive following. You just have to be passionate, do what you love, share it, and you'll connect with your community people. You'll find your people, your little niche, and opportunities will come from that. And I feel like that's the best way to start a business, right? Because you don't have to be overwhelmed with like, oh my gosh, I don't have a big enough following yet. Definitely. I can't do anything on social media. But it's like, you know, you are a testament to the fact that like you don't have to worry about those things. You just honor the moment and then just like meet new people, like maybe offer services or video or whatever, you know, and then you end up developing super fans to a certain extent, right? So
and it's crazy because like sometimes the people that support me the most on social media, right? I have friends and family that support me a ton, and I'm so grateful for it. But sometimes the people that support me the most on social media are people that I've never even met before, and it's like they appreciate my work so much, and I would hope that they appreciate. That they see I appreciate them, like their support, and I think that also kind of helps. You know, I try to like comment and reply back to people because to show that like
you're a real person.
Of course, I like don't even want to say that. Like, of course I'm a real person, but to also show that like you know I really do actually care that they take the time to like sit there and comment, because like I know like I'll just say like you know comment down below, but like I really do like respect that they do comment down below. So like I want to show them that, because I know for me, like with, you know, other content creators, I like when I started out, always ask questions, and you'll get bummed like when you don't get a reply. Like you understand because there's like so many people, but
right.
I do my best even if I don't have that many followers. But to make for me, like Instagram, especially when it comes down to the followers, like you said, to have quality followers matters, because I've met so many amazing, crazy, talented, kind people on Instagram. I've met so many, like had so many great connections. And one of the companies I've worked with, which is a company called SAP, they found me because one of the guys that works there is a big fan of Notre Dame football because he graduated there. And
your buddy Ian Book
from Oak Ridge, whenever he's home in town, if he has time, we'll film, we'll do an edit, and he actually has a passion for video as well, so he can appreciate what I do on the other side. But he came across one of my videos on Instagram, and you know I don't have that many followers, but that one little connection had such a big impact on my career.
So then, after that opportunity, how did you continue to market yourself and branch out?
So after that, it just gave me the opportunity to like represent myself like as more of a professional, just because I've worked with this company that has a name in its industry and developing these videos. Then once I had that gig, then I was like, okay, like you need to get serious, like work on your website, like really start focusing on targeting and reaching out to new clients. And even when I moved because I transferred to Santa Cruz a little over a year and a half ago. And right when I got to Santa Cruz, just started networking with everyone in Santa Cruz. And I started working with a couple small local companies. There was one that was just manufacturing clothing, like screen printing for different brands and stuff like that. But really with the SAP stuff, it just gave me the confidence to just keep going and like
to know your value.
To know my value. That was a big one. Was okay, like I'm really starting to get into this industry, and like I need to understand my value and be confident about that.
Was that the first time that you had like an invoice?
That was the first time I had an invoice, and that was the first time I had like a legit budget. So before that, I was really just taking anything I could get.
And that's everyone's story, isn't it?
Yeah,
pretty much.
Right?
You have to like do your work before.
Definitely.
Is this Taco Bell for me right now?
Yeah.
Thanks.
For real. Yeah, right.
Great, lunch is provided.
Some
cool.
lunch, yes. Man, anything to build the portfolio.
Yeah,
man.
So it's worth it. It pays off. Though.
Yeah, it pays off. And I remember even when I was first starting, like right before that, just contacting athletes and like music artists, trying to build my portfolio too. I remember was something that really helped me.
Did you get a lot of yeses? A lot of people?
There was a lot of no's.
Yeah.
There was a lot of no's and there was a lot of no responses.
Yeah.
There's more no
Joey's
responses.
Who is this guy?
Great.
Yeah, right? Like
You like to think that maybe they just didn't see the message. Or,
yeah, like I hope so.
Yeah.
But where I have the most fun filming is with like athletes, creative artists, music artists. It's just my zone where I feel like because like also specifically when it comes to like athletes, like as a kid, like I'm sure everyone's dream was like to become a professional athlete in some sport. And like
I was gonna be a basketball player, by the way.
Yeah, I was gonna be a soccer player, and then if not, it was gonna be like football or something. But for me to be able to like film with people at that level is so it's like it feels like I'm just there with them.
So can you share some of those experiences that you had?
So currently right now I've been grateful to have the opportunity to work with my friend Aaron Chapman, who just started a show called Behind the Jersey. And it really just what we do is each episode it's about an athlete and what their passion is outside of the sport that they are a professional in. So for the first episode, it was an NFL player named John Ross, and he's a running back for the Bengals, and he actually has the fastest 40-yard.
Yeah. He went to Washington, is that right?
Yeah. So, and my friend was able to make the connection because they both played at Washington, and my friend ended up having an injury later on, but he stayed good friends with him. And for the first episode, he was willing to do the episode with us, and he has a huge passion in video games.
No kidding.
Yeah, like he said that if he wasn't into NFL, like he would try to be like a YouTuber, like gamer. Like that's what he'd totally do.
This is like on Fortnite or what?
Fortnite, and then like he loves Fortnite, and then he'll also play like Madden and 2K and stuff like that. But so we brought on a famous YouTuber gamer who's got like 2 million subscribers named P2. And they sat down and played video games.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and he talked about how, John can start to open up about his passion for video games. Because the show is kind of also focusing on how a lot of athletes feel like they have to only concentrate on the sport. They play professional. And sometimes they're kind of looked down upon if they open up other interests because then it's like they're not focused on the sport that they play for. So you just kind of helping them, get involved more about, because also we're developing a way for these athletes to have something there for them after their retirement. Because especially depending on the sport you play, you only have,
a window of time.
Yeah. And then after that, if you haven't like developed a brand for yourself or a name for yourself, and there's so much more opportunities when you can utilize that. So
that's so true. Yeah. And not everybody's going to be LeBron, Steph Curry.
Exactly.
Kevin Durant, which it's interesting that these big athletes are even still like, think about Kevin Durant's like more than an athlete, or is it LeBron's more than an athlete, or Kevin Durant's boardroom? Like they're developing these channels while they have their brand that's really big, while they've got these followers. It's the long play. It's the long play.
Smart.
It's like it's fulfilling to like listen to them talk about it as well.
Is it being produced and put on a platform right now? Or
right now it's just on YouTube and Facebook. But we're working on trying to promote it in other platforms as well. But it's a YouTube video.
A YouTube video.
Series.
How many are there?
There's 3 right now.
And you're in development for?
So right now we're trying to work on more, but right now we're focused on really bringing in people quality, interesting, influential people, but like people that we really think will make because we were like, oh, well, we could just, try to find as
many people.
Yeah, we could always try to find as many connections as we want, but we're like, well, we don't want to just be posting a ton of episodes. We rather like focus on like good quality episodes rather than, so we've kind of, things have like slowed down. Our last episode we published in December. So, and we're working on some more right now, but he's the creator, Aaron Chapman, my friend. He's the creator and director, and I'm a director of photography. So he wanted to bring me on,
cool,
because he couldn't do it by himself, and he's always loved my videos, and we've always had a connection with each other. Yeah. So he's an awesome guy, really good friend. So
speak to aspiring content creators, the kids with the cameras. How give some recommendations or some tips on like how to navigate
developing their craft,
developing their own personal brand, and developing their craft. Like what are some things that you would recommend any young kid to do?
Well, I would say to just experience a lot of different opportunities, because I know for me it was like I didn't even know what I wanted to do. So like, I mean, you're already a step ahead if you have like a niche or something that you already like gravitate towards. Yeah. So if you do, I would say just focus on that, and a lot of opportunities can come about that. But for me, like, when it comes to actually like learning information and stuff about the camera, like YouTube was everything for me. Yeah. Like I always would search for videos on YouTube if I ever had neat like editing issues, or if I ever came across problems with that. And the people I follow on Instagram have a big impact on the way I work too, because I know there's some people that will tend to like, when they first get into their career, they'll like copy just one person's stuff like that. But I would say have a bunch of different people to look at and just
draw inspiration from it.
Draw inspiration from it, and just take little things from each and see how you can apply it on your own with your own style. But I think it takes time to kind of develop your own style unless you already know. So I would just say to just take on as many opportunities as you can to build a portfolio. We've talked about this earlier. The gear's not everything. There'll always be something that you're missing in your gear list. It's always like, oh, you get this, and then you're like, well, I need to upgrade this eventually. And it's and then not only that, you get a great camera, and then days later they'll upgrade it. It's like there'll always be something out there. I remember when I went to Yosemite for the first time ever, and I forgot my SD card. I was so bummed. But
did you buy one?
I wish they had like, I mean, I wonder
a delivery service on Amazon, a little drone that drops you
all the way to Yosemite. Gosh, that would be nice. But I was like, screw it, I'm gonna use my phone, and I just used my iPhone, and I made a really cool edit. Actually, NatureBacks posted it, and it was actually an opportunity for me to, actually, when I did that edit, it was an opportunity for me to tell my followers like, look, like, you don't always need expensive equipment to be able to tell a story. Like, that's good. Because you could have the nicest equipment in the world, but if there's no story in the video, if there's nothing like engaging, or if you can't people will watch it to your audience, people are gonna watch it.
There's so many other parts of filmmaking that we don't talk a lot about that are the most important parts.
You spend the most time.
The organization, file management, or the pre-production, the pre-planning, making sure I have my SD card before I head out, you know? And I've got, which I'll be the first to admit of like an area of growth. All the time that goes into post-production of putting together that story gets refined by having a more substantial plan or strategy going into it, right?
100%. Very much so right now. That's what I've been focused on, is like concept creation, like before, like creating the concept of what you're gonna do, kind of a general shot list. I've always been the guy that's like, I'll show up on scene, I'll look around and film. Like I got it.
Yeah, I got
like,
this, dude.
Like, I'll throw
Draw
it in.
Inspiration.
Exactly. I'll throw on a song on the way home and think of an edit. Or like, I'll throw it in an editor and just like, but no, like, recently on many of my shoots, I've been like generalizing like some concepts that I can form like some stories, and depending on what I'm doing. So like, for example, I just shot an ad for NatureBacks on a wristband that they sell, and it was we went to Yosemite on Friday to do it, and I used to just go to Yosemite and just like shoot everything that's beautiful and just be like, bam. I'm just gonna do like
figure it out.
Yeah, I just do like a montage. Like when I get home, just throw it all together. Like
Get some
cool
killer
song.
transitions.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Cool song,
Killer transitions. Yeah, throw it together. It'll look nice. Like, which is fun, but it's so much more rewarding and so much actually easier. The story's better. Everything's just better when I create a plan in my head, storyboard it, and generalize like a shot list. Like sometimes I'll like write something down, but for the most part, just generalizing at least what I'm gonna do. So, because like when you shoot it, not only like you're saving a ton of time while shooting the project, because you're just like, you know what to shoot, and then you can kind of plan things easier. But when I get back to my desk, I'm like, all right, bam.
So can you tell people where they can find you if they want to follow your journey? Because obviously you are creating some really cool content. What's your handle?
Thank you. So you can follow me at Gaston Gardey, GastonGardey on Instagram. And then it's going to be the same thing for YouTube.
Okay.
Awesome. So, and you mentioned you have a website too, or is that not
so www.gastongardeymedia.com.
Killer. Well, thank you so much for being here.
Yes,
I appreciate the opportunity.
And really excited for what's going to happen next. Hey, thanks for listening. Don't be a stranger. Hit the subscribe button and let us know how you enjoyed the episode in a rating on the podcast app or in the comments below if you're watching. And remember, you're one of a kind.